from snakes dining on each other to documented man-eaters. Here are 14 bizarre things found inside of giant snakes. Escape artist. Of course, many snakes are known for their voracious appetites, as we shall see on a list, and sometimes the menu includes their own fellow serpents. No doubt you'll be shocked to learn this incident took place in Australia. The eastern brown snake is known as one of the most venomous snakes on the planet, and it took on the less venomous red-bellied black snake. Even so, it managed to swallow its counterpart and slid away to enjoy its victory. Apparently, both critters had had enough action for one day, and they decided to part ways. But how do you think the eastern brown snake managed to escape from inside the black snake's body? Tell us in the comments. 13. Supersize me. We have a story about what happened when a pregnant snake was sliced open. We'll get to that a bit later. Right now, here's a story about what happened when a snake was opened up to reveal a pregnant mountain sheep inside it. Boa constrictors are known to prey on a variety of mammals and birds, but this reptile paid a steep price for its lamb dinner, that being its life. Munching on macropods. Now here is another one of those stories that could only have happened in Australia. A 10-foot python managed to put on a horror show when it wandered into the backyard of a North Queensland residence. The homeowner found the reptile and the mammal rolling around in his garden and managed to take some gruesome pictures of the interspecies struggle. 11. Snake eats deer. Burmese pythons are among the world's largest snakes, with specimens in the wild known to measure nearly 19 feet long. And they have become a large problem in Florida, where they're often found slithering about the Everglades and are considered an invasive species. Now, an example of the danger they can pose for indigenous species came in 2015 when one of the pythons managed to chow down a white-tailed deer that weighed more than the reptile itself, and that one weighed about 31.5 pounds, but the fawn weighed 35 pounds. 10. Snake and eggs. Snakes being reptiles, they of course do lay eggs, but most of us never see them while they're still inside the shell, and fewer of us still have actually seen the eggs while they're still inside the mother. But some villagers in Nigeria got quite an eyeful when they killed a massive serpent that was suspected of devouring local livestock. That suspicion arose because the reptile showed a bulge in its stomach, which villagers thought could have been a calf or some other livestock. But when they sliced the animal open, they discovered that it was swollen for a different reason. The snake was actually pregnant, and its body was crammed full of slimy, veiny, pink eggs neatly arranged in 3 rows. While the snake's exact species was unknown, many thought it could have been an African rock python, some of which can grow to around 24 feet long and are known to prey on larger animals, including crocodiles. Those villagers quickly harvested the eggs because they are viewed as a rare delicacy within that region. 9. Scales versus scutes. Northern Queensland makes a couple of appearances on a list, and in this case the territory served as the battleground for a war between the reptiles. A snake and a crocodile waged a 5-hour scale-to-scute struggle in the waters of Lake Mundara as onlookers beheld the deadly contest. Finally, the snake managed to coil about the croc and constricted its opponent. Afterward, the vanquished prey was dragged onto shore, and the snake enjoyed its meal, eating it face first. 8. Don't have a cow. An anaconda in Brazil was hungry enough to eat an entire cow, then discovered it bit off more than it could chew. Footage of the gruesome incident from the Brazilian jungle surfaced online. The giant snake was seen to regurgitate the entire body of a heifer into the water. But a caveat here, some have argued that the creature being spewed out is actually a capybara, a rodent that can weigh nearly 150 pounds and is often the preferred meal of the big reptiles. 7. A lot of guts. What happens when 2 deadly predators view each other as the prey? Well, in this case, you get kind of a draw. That's what apparently happened in Florida when a 6-foot alligator took on a 13-foot Burmese python, although we're not sure exactly which critter started it. But we do know what ended it, and that was a gutty effort from the alligator. After the big snake had seemingly gobbled up the gator, there was a rude awakening in store when the python's meal started to chew its way out of its body. When the python no longer detected a heartbeat, it started to digest its meal, which in turn woke up the gator within, all of which left the gruesome sight of the gutty gator's carcass extending from the belly of the dead python. 6. Last Supper. Ever hear someone say they were so hungry they could eat a horse? Well, a hungry 20-foot python in India managed to scarf down another type of ungulate, that being an entire fully grown antelope. The reptile managed to swallow the critter whole, but it did pay a price for its big appetite. A huge snake could barely budge on the ground with its belly horrendously distended by the antelope within, and it never even got to enjoy its dinner, since the animal died soon after. Experts say that pythons can take a few weeks to properly digest prey that's been swallowed whole. 5. Monkeying around. In South Africa, a huge python decided to add some primate to its meal, so it chose a vervet monkey, which it dragged into the bushes to devour. A conservation student said he witnessed the large reptile constricting about the monkey to suffocate it, and then went on to open its jaws wide enough to consume its prey over the span of several hours. So no doubt that was a fair-sized meal for the snake to ingest, all in one fell swoop, or one fell gulp, as the case might be. 4. Points taken. Snakes will take on just about any animal when they're hungry enough, but this is the first time we've heard of the reptiles actually taking on a porcupine. And judging from these prickly pictures, snakes will take on just about any animal when they're hungry enough, but this is the first time we've heard of the reptiles actually taking on a porcupine. And judging from the result, it'll likely be the last time for this one particular snake. Snakes will take on just about any animal when they're hungry enough, but this is the first time we've ever heard of the reptiles taking on a porcupine. A 13-foot rock python was found dead at a game reserve in South Africa after having swallowed a 30-pound porcupine. Those spines impaling the reptile's digestive tract all the way down must have made for a bitter quill to swallow. 3. Tastes like chicken. There's an old expression, the eyes were bigger than the stomach. And that's kind of the case with a lot of these massive snakes that are determined to chow down anything that gets in the way of their appetite. And it was no different with a 10-foot python in Thailand. It slid into a garden during the night and managed to swallow down not one, but 2 fighting roosters, each of which were valued at close to $500. The owner of the birds found the reptilian culprit lying in the street, unable to move, because the birds had become jammed inside the snake's throat. Animal rescue workers managed to extract the roosters, and the snake was released back to the wild following the foul incident. 2. 2 fangs versus 100 legs. This happened in Macedonia on the island of Golemgrad, which is also known as Snake Island. That's where researchers saw the hideous sight of a horn-nosed viper that had a centipede which had exploded out of a belly. Both animals were dead when discovered, and experts think the 8-inch reptile did not realize how big a meal the centipede actually represented, because the centipede was actually 6 inches long, close to the size of the snake itself. 1. Eaten alive. And for our number 1 selection, we have a verified account of a true man-eater. This enormous reticulated python more than earned the title. The day after a 25-year-old man was reported missing in a remote village of Indonesia, a search party was formed to find him. The next night, a massive reticulated python was laid sprawled out in the man's garden. That beast was more than 20 feet long, and it had a bulge in its body that made everyone in the search party a bit nervous. After slicing open the snake's belly, their fears were confirmed. As the snake's skin was peeled back, the corpse of the missing man was removed. Fully verified case of a python deliberately killing and eating an adult human being.